The frigid darkness of the Arctic chamber was disrupted by the sudden illumination of emergency lights, casting long, eerie shadows across the icy walls. The air was stale, cold, and carried a palpable sense of untouched time. Embedded in the heart of this frozen sanctuary, pods lined the chamber, their surfaces encrusted with a layer of frost that sparkled under the newly awakened lights. Among these pods, one began to hiss softly, a prelude to the awakening within. The pod's lid slowly retracted, releasing a cloud of icy vapor into the air. Inside, a figure stirred, their breath visible in the cold as they blinked against the harshness of the light. This was Alex Mercer, one of the last secretly preserved humans from before the destruction of Earth by the Galactic Council. Alex's body convulsed slightly as the revival systems administered stimulants and nutrients to jumpstart his bodily functions after 500,000 years of cryogenic sleep. His mind, foggy at first, began to regain clarity, overwhelmed by the reality of his situation and the mission that had been ingrained into him centuries ago. Mission remembered. As his senses returned, so too did his purpose. Alex was part of Project Continuum, a secret initiative launched by Earth's final defenders. Their goal was ambitious and desperate, to preserve a fragment of humanity, no matter the cost, in hopes that one day they could rise again. His training, although blurred by the mists of time, started to resurface: survival skills, combat tactics, and knowledge about the galaxy that had once been. Alex stepped out of his pod, his feet touching the cold, solid floor of the chamber. Around him, other pods began to activate, signaling the awakening of his companions. But there was no time to gather. The urgency of their mission pressed upon him. He moved quickly to the central console, a large, dust-covered panel that flickered to life at his touch. The screen displayed the status of their base, hidden deep beneath the Arctic ice cap. It was miraculously intact, a testament to the engineering prowess of a civilization long vanished. The map showed the outline of their underground facility, and vital systems slowly turned from red to green as they came online. The harsh reality. Outside the safety of their hidden base, the world had changed unimaginably. The Galactic Council, an assembly of powerful alien species, had deemed humans too chaotic, too dangerous to exist among the starfaring civilizations. In a devastating display of power, they had obliterated Earth, reducing it to cosmic dust, and with it, nearly all traces of human existence. What the Council hadn't counted on was the stubborn tenacity of human will. Project Continuum was the wild card, hidden from all prying eyes and sensors, deep within the Earth's most inhospitable places. The Council had overlooked the legends of human survival and adaptability, gathering allies. As the rest of the team awakened, Alex briefed them with a mix of urgency and passion. Each member of the crew had been selected not just for their skills, but for their ability to carry the torch of humanity into a future full of unknowns. There was Mara, the biotechnologist, whose expertise would be crucial in adapting to whatever ecosystems they might find. Then there was John, the ex-military tactician, and Lee, a prodigy in quantum computing and encryption. Together, they reviewed their first objective: to assess the habitability of the outside world, if any remained, and to establish contact with any possible remnants of human or alien sympathizers. The galaxy thought humanity was extinct, and that was their advantage. They were ghosts, specters of a bygone era ready to reclaim their place in the cosmos. A new challenge. Their equipment was primitive compared to the technological marvels the Galactic Council possessed, but it was functional, and more importantly, undetectable by the... As Alex and his team navigated through the winding icy tunnels that led to the surface, the harsh reality of their situation settled in with every step. The Arctic air, now free from the protective embrace of the underground chamber, bit into their skin, a harsh reminder of the world they were stepping into. Mara checked her environmental suit's readings obsessively, ensuring that the external conditions were within survivable limits. Emerging from the tunnel, the team encountered a landscape utterly alien to the records left from their time. Massive ice formations towered like skyscrapers, sculpted by winds that had been unchecked by human influence for millennia. The sun, a dim orb in the sky, provided little warmth but bathed the ice in a hauntingly beautiful pale light. stealth and reconnaissance. Using the compact drones they carried, Lee deployed the first of their aerial scouts. These drones, designed for stealth and environmental data collection, buzzed quietly into the sky, their sensors feeding live data back to the team's portable monitors. The initial scans revealed a stark fact: life, as they knew it, struggled to exist here. However, pulses of energy detected far beyond their immediate vicinity hinted at something more, a sign of active technology, possibly alien. Fueled by this discovery, Alex directed the team towards the source of the energy pulses. John, with his tactical expertise, suggested a cautious approach to avoid alarming any potential watchers. As they trekked across the icy wilderness, the remnants of what might have been northern Scandinavia, they relied on the natural landforms to shield their movements. Encounter. The journey to the energy source took them through landscapes that were both breathtaking and desolate. Suddenly, their path was blocked by a chasm, its depths lost in darkness. The energy readings were now stronger, emanating from the other side. Without hesitation, Mara set up a portable bridge, a lightweight but sturdy structure they carefully walked across, one by one. As they reached the midpoint of the chasm, a low hum began to resonate around them. The source was close. Upon reaching the other side, they found themselves facing what appeared to be an outpost, partially buried in the ice. Its design was unmistakably alien, sleek surfaces interrupted by strange symbols and geometric patterns that glowed faintly. Infiltration. Alex motioned for silence as they approached the structure. The entrance was sealed by a door made of a material that shimmered with an inner light. Lee, with her expertise in alien technology, interfaced her device with the door's mechanism. After several tense moments, the door slid open with a silent grace, revealing a dimly lit corridor lined with more glowing symbols. Inside, the air was warm, a stark contrast to the outside. The team moved in, their lights cutting through the darkness. The corridor opened into a larger chamber, filled with consoles and screens, some flickering with cryptic data. This was clearly a monitoring station, but there were no signs of occupants. Discovery Mara approached one of the consoles, her fingers deftly navigating the alien interface with Lee's guidance. The screen displayed a star map, with various planets marked in an unknown script. Amid the unfamiliar constellations, one marker blinked insistently, a marker that corresponded to Earth's coordinates, or where Earth should have been. The realization was sudden and chilling. This outpost was not just a relic, but an active monitoring station, possibly overseeing what remained of the solar system. The implications were profound and immediate. If they were discovered, any hope of rekindling the human legacy could be extinguished. Navigating the deeper corridors of the alien outpost, Alex and his team were enveloped by an ominous silence, their footsteps muffled against the sleek floors. The deeper they went, the more the architecture seemed to pulse with a life of its own, walls subtly shifting hues, reacting to their presence. It was as if the entire structure was aware, watching them through unseen eyes. Data Heist Lee set up a makeshift data extraction station using parts from their limited tech arsenal. Her fingers danced across the alien interface with increasing confidence, aided by real-time translations and hacking algorithms she had improvised on the spot. As data streamed onto her portable screen, the contours of a vast galactic network began to take shape: trade routes, political alliances, surveillance grids, and most shockingly, a classified section on species reclamation projects. Humanity was listed there, tagged as extinct, but with recent annotations that suggested surveillance of the solar system had intensified. Unexpected encounter. The team's focused examination of the outpost's secrets was abruptly interrupted by a disturbance at the perimeter of their secured area. John, ever vigilant, signaled to the others. Through the dim corridors, the soft echo of approaching footsteps grew steadily louder. Whatever was coming, it was doing so deliberately, unafraid of being detected. With practiced calm, the team positioned themselves out of direct sight, weapons drawn yet hopeful for a non-violent resolution. As the figure turned the corner, its appearance struck them. A humanoid shape, but with skin that shimmered like the stars, eyes glowing with a soft internal luminescence. Communication breakthrough. The being stopped short upon spotting them, its body language conveying surprise and caution. Alex stepped forward, hands raised in a universal gesture of peace. The alien's eyes narrowed, then, unexpectedly, it spoke, its voice a melodic cascade of tones that were felt rather than heard. Lee quickly adjusted her device to analyze and replicate the alien's communication pattern. Within moments, a rough translation bridge was established. The alien introduced itself as Iron, a sentinel of the Galactic Council, assigned to monitor this abandoned sector of space. Iron was as surprised to find humans alive as they were to encounter a Council species willing to communicate. Strategic alliances. Through cautious dialogue, they learned that Iron had grown skeptical of the Council's directives, which often left little room for mercy or change. Iron revealed that many believed the Council's fear of humans was exaggerated, fueled by a few extremist factions within their own ranks. The revelation was a ray of hope. There were potential allies within the galaxy who might view humanity's resurgence as a chance for redemption, not a threat. Mara proposed a bold plan. They could use this outpost, far from the prying eyes of the Council's core systems, as a base to gather support and build a coalition of species that favored coexistence over eradication. Iren, intrigued by the idea of change, agreed to assist, offering knowledge of Council technologies and strategies, gathering intel. As the makeshift alliance solidified, Alex and his team, now inclusive of Iron, dedicated themselves to mastering the outpost's technology. Their aim was to transform it into a hub of resistance and negotiation. Each room they secured expanded their control over the system, and with each module of alien tech repurposed, their understanding of the Galactic Council's infrastructure deepened. Shadows and espionage Iron guided them through the process of tapping into the Council's communication relays discreetly. Lee and Mara worked in tandem to establish a secure network, a web of shadows that would allow them to intercept, decrypt, and understand the inner workings of their adversaries. This network revealed not just the political climate but also flagged potential allies, other species that had grievances against the Council's authoritarian rule. The art of subterfuge John, taking on the role of chief strategist, suggested they initiate a series of covert operations to test their newfound capabilities. The first operation was to infiltrate a Council data buoy in a neighboring system. The objective was twofold: to demonstrate their capability to breach Council security, and more importantly, to plant misinformation that hinted at a potential threat from another rival species, thus diverting attention away from human activities. The operation was a harrowing success. Using stealth tech reverse-engineered by Lee, they approached the buoy undetected, executed their mission, and left without leaving a trace. The resulting confusion within the Council's ranks provided them with much-needed breathing room and a chance to build their network further. Cultivating alliances. With the outpost now functioning as a shadow command center, Alex initiated contact with potential allies using the encrypted channels they had established. These were not just cold calls into the void. They were strategic communications designed to appeal to each species' specific grievances and aspirations. One such species, the Thalosians, who had long suffered under the economic restrictions imposed by the Council, responded with cautious interest. Negotiations were delicate, with each side weighing the risks of betrayal against the potential benefits of an alliance. After intense discussions, a secret pact was formed based on mutual benefit and shared intelligence, technological advancements. Meanwhile, Mara focused on adapting Council technology for human use, enhancing their environmental suits and weapons with alien modifications. This not only improved their survival capabilities, but also leveled the playing field should they need to defend themselves against a physically superior foe. The outpost, once a lonely sentinel in the frozen wastes, buzzed with activity. Its halls echoed with the sounds of preparation and planning, as the team, now larger and more diverse, trained and prepared for the eventualities of their complex interstellar game. Surveillance and countermeasures. Aware that their actions could eventually draw unwanted attention, Iron implemented a series of counter-surveillance measures. These included decoy transmissions and false data trails designed to make their actual location and intentions as opaque as possible to the Council's prying eyes. Every intercepted message, Every gathered piece of intelligence added layers to their understanding of the galaxy's socio-political landscape. They learned of uprisings quelled with brutal efficiency, of backdoor deals that kept certain species in power, and of covert operations that ensured the Council's dominance. This information was invaluable, painting a picture of an empire ripe for change, or at least disruption. In the depths of space, far from the equilibrium of covert operations began to strain under the weight of their growing ambitions. Each successful maneuver through the galaxy's intricate power structures emboldened Alex and his allies, but also increased the risk of exposure. As they expanded their reach, the team had to navigate not just the political intricacies of new alliances, but also manage the suspicions that their mysterious emergence engendered among the galaxy's wary inhabitants. The crux of diplomacy. Alex, with Iron's nuanced understanding of the Council's diplomacy, chaired a clandestine summit hosted within the virtual reality spaces that Lee had configured to mask their true locations. Here, representatives of the Tholotians and several other discreetly rebellious factions discussed the formation of a covert coalition. The summit was a delicate dance of diplomacy, with Alex advocating for a unified front against the Council's overreach, while ensuring that each species' fears and ambitions were addressed. A breach. Despite their meticulous precautions, a routine sweep of their systems by Mara revealed an anomaly that suggested their communications might have been compromised. The team scrambled to trace the breach, a task that revealed a sophisticated spyware embedded within their network by an unknown adversary. The breach was a stark reminder of their vulnerability and the necessity of maintaining operational security. Iron, with a deep-seated understanding of Council technology, spearheaded the effort to fortify their digital defenses, purging the spyware and reinforcing their encryption protocols. This incident spurred a renewed focus on developing counter-espionage technologies that could detect and neutralize similar threats in the future. Shifting alliances. The discovery of the breach brought an unexpected advantage. It allowed Alex to demonstrate the strength and integrity of their coalition by transparently addressing the issue with their allies. This act of good faith solidified their relationships and even brought skeptical parties closer, recognizing the mutual threat they faced from the Council's pervasive surveillance capabilities. An unlikely proposition. In an unexpected turn, the crisis precipitated contact from a species known as the Krillians, who had been silently suffering under the Council's dominion. The Krillians, experts in stealth technology, offered an alliance, proposing a trade of technology that would significantly enhance the Coalition's ability to move unseen through the galaxy. This new alliance proved to be a game-changer. With Krillian stealth technology integrated into their ships and operations, Alex's team could execute missions with a new level of discretion, significantly reducing the risk of future breaches. Preparation for the inevitable. Knowing that their actions would eventually provoke a direct confrontation with the Council, the team, now a formidable group of diverse species and capabilities, began preparing for a potential conflict. John led rigorous training sessions, combining human military tactics with alien technologies and strategies. Each member of the coalition brought their unique strengths to these sessions, creating a composite fighting force that was more than the sum of its parts. Empowering the edge. Simultaneously, Lee developed a decentralized command network that would allow the coalition to maintain coordination even if parts of their network were compromised or destroyed. This network, built on the principles of redundancy and resilience, ensured that no single point of failure could cripple their operations. The outpost, once a relic of surveillance, and as the coalition's influence expanded, each maneuver and alliance shifted the balance of power subtly yet significantly. The network of species, once isolated and subdued under the Council's dominion, now found a common cause in the shadow of humanity's resurgence. The outpost buzzed with activity, strategy sessions blending into war games, and diplomatic parleys as they braced for the inevitable clash. First strike. The moment of truth arrived sooner than expected. A Council patrol, on a routine surveillance mission, stumbled upon one of the Coalition's hidden relay stations. The encounter was brief and explosive, Utilizing Krillion's stealth technology, the Coalition forces managed a swift takedown of the patrol, leaving no survivors to report back. This act, while a defensive necessity, marked the first open act of rebellion against the Council. Galactic broadcast. Seizing the moment, Alex and Aaron coordinated a galaxy-wide broadcast, using the Council's own communication satellites they had secretly commandeered. Alex delivered a stirring message, calling for freedom from the Council's oppressive governance, revealing the Coalition's diverse membership and their shared vision for a more equitable Galactic Federation. The broadcast had a dual effect. It rallied those who harbored silent grievances against the Council, sparking protests and uprisings across multiple systems. Simultaneously, it forced the Council to acknowledge the growing threat, precipitating a harsh crackdown on dissent, which only fueled the fires of rebellion further. Siege of the Outpost. In retaliation, the Council dispatched a formidable armada to neutralize the human-led coalition. The outpost, once a forgotten relic, became the epicenter of a historic siege. The Coalition's preparations were put to the test as waves of Council drones and assault troops descended upon them. Under John's tactical leadership, the Coalition forces held firm. The outpost's defenses, enhanced with alien technology and fortified by the determination of its defenders, repelled the initial assaults. Each victory, however hard-won, added to the legend of the outpost, a beacon of resistance that could not be extinguished easily. Turning the tide. During the siege, Lee and Mara unleashed a series of cyber attacks that infiltrated the Council's command networks, sowing confusion and discord among their ranks. This cyber offensive, coupled with the ongoing physical defense of the outpost, began to turn the tide. The Council's forces, stretched thin and demoralized by unexpected resistance and internal dissent, started to falter. The final confrontation. The climax of the conflict came when Alex and a team of elite operatives, including Iron and representatives from their allied species, undertook a daring mission to board the Council's flagship. Using a captured Council vessel, they infiltrated the flagship, confronting its command in a dramatic showdown. In a tense negotiation, with the battle raging outside, Alex offered an ultimatum: cease hostilities and engage in peace talks, or face continued resistance and inevitable defeat. The Council, realizing the futility of their position and the potential for a prolonged conflict that could tear the galaxy apart, agreed to a ceasefire. A new galactic era. The peace talks that followed were long and fraught with challenges, but they laid the groundwork for a new galactic order. The Coalition, with humans at its core, played a pivotal role in shaping this new federation, ensuring that no single species could dominate others as the Council had. The outpost, once a symbol of human survival against all odds, became the seat of the new federation, a place where species from across the galaxy came together to share knowledge, resolve disputes, and build a shared future. In this new era, humanity was no longer seen as a threat to be extinguished, but as essential architects of galactic unity and peace. The legacy of Earth, preserved through centuries of struggle and resilience, now lived on in a federation that spanned the stars,